It wasn't the whole curtain, just one section, tightening, as if fingers were gripping it. Welcome back to Karma Quietly Whispers, my loves. This is your place for spooky, creepy, and scary stories. My name is Elara, and I am your whisperer. Tonight, please join me as we journey together. I'm sure you will enjoy what is to come. So, let us begin. Tonight's story is quiet. There's no creature, no dark figure, no one chasing anyone through the night. Tonight's story is just a curtain. And somehow, that makes it one of the most unsettling things I've narrated in a long time. This comes from Reddit's TrueScaryStories, a young person, now 23, sharing something that happened when they were 12. 11 years of sitting with a memory they cannot explain. 11 years of returning to a single moment, a single movement, in a bedroom that should have been ordinary. I think about stories like this a lot, the ones that aren't dramatic, the ones that don't come with witnesses or footage or a creature that flees into darkness, the ones that are just a thing that happened. A small, quiet thing that has no business still living rent-free in someone's mind more than a decade later. They were 12 years old, shared a bedroom with their 15-year-old brother, bunk beds pushed against one wall, and on the opposite wall a large window, about 1.5 meters wide, with 2 sets of IKEA drawers sitting beneath it. Between the drawers and the walls, only a few centimeters of space. Just enough for curtains to hang and move freely. The window could only be opened from the inside. On the outside, security bars, the kind you see on Australian homes, diamond-shaped, bolted in, and behind those, a fly screen. No one was getting through. No one was getting in. It was around 6 p.m. Still light outside. Cousins had come over for dinner. The family was at the table, laughing, talking. Our narrator got bored, as 12-year-olds do, slipped away to their room, sat on their bed, picked up their tablet. 2 minutes later, movement. In the peripheral vision, the curtain, moving. Now, here's where I want you to pay attention, because the way this is described is precise in a way that matters. It wasn't swaying. It wasn't the whole curtain catching a draft. It was specific, deliberate, localized. A single section tightening inward, the fabric scrunching together, gathered tight, and then sliding, slowly, steadily, as if being dragged by fingers. I've tried to picture what that looks like, and I wish I hadn't, because we all know that movement. We've all accidentally grabbed fabric while reaching past a curtain. We've all felt the way it bunches and gives under a grip. We know that motion in our bones. It is not the motion of air. It is not the motion of static. It is the motion of a hand. But there was no hand, no fingers, no shape, no outline of a person behind the curtain. And there couldn't have been centimeters of space between the drawers and the wall, a closed window, bars outside, no wind. Our narrator stared at it, processing, trying to make it make sense. And then, that drop in the stomach. You know the one that arrives a few seconds behind the fear, when your body finishes processing what your eyes have seen and files it under wrong. They threw their tablet onto the bed. they ran. Straight back to the dining room, to the noise, to the cousins and the dinner table and the ordinary family sounds that suddenly felt like the most important things in the world. They didn't look back. Nothing else happened. No noises, no footsteps, no further movement. The curtain stayed still for the rest of the evening, presumably, and the night continued as nights do. A curtain moved. And now they're 23. A decade of life lived since that evening. School, growing up, friendships, experiences that should dwarf a moment in a childhood bedroom. And yet when they sat down to write this, they said, "In all those years, nothing has unsettled me more than that specific movement. The way the fabric tightened like it was being held. Not the most dramatic thing, not the loudest, not the largest, the most precise. They've tried, they say, genuinely tried to find the explanation. Air pressure, static electricity, a draft from somewhere they didn't notice, and they cannot rule any of it out. Not completely. Science doesn't require you to have an answer to every question. But they know the difference between fabric moving in air and fabric being gripped. And what they saw was the second one. Here's what this story makes me think about. The category of paranormal experience that almost never gets taken seriously. Not the dramatic apparitions, not the voices, not the presences that send you screaming into the night. The quiet ones. The ones that are over in seconds. The ones where nothing happens after. No escalation, no confirmation, no sequel. Just a single, inexplicable moment that brands itself into memory with a permanence that makes no logical sense given its scale. Those might be the realest ones. Because whatever needs to make a big entrance, whatever announces itself with footsteps and dark figures and fleeing into the dark, that's performing for you. That's aware of your attention. But a curtain that moves in an empty room while you're not quite watching, that wasn't for you to see. You just happened to catch it. To the person who shared this, I believe you. Not because I can explain it, but because that specific confusion, the certainty paired with the inability to prove, is the most honest thing a person can offer. And 11 years of carrying a memory like that quietly, without answers, takes a particular kind of strength. Or maybe it just takes knowing there's no explanation worth waiting for. This story was sourced from Reddit's TrueScaryStories. Original poster is now 23 and still has no explanation. Neither do I. Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Elara, and I am your whisperer. I'll be here, waiting for you next time. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment below. I want to hear your stories. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this story and want to hear more. This has been Karma Quietly Whispers. See you soon.